Well, a new prescription for health care reform. President Obama unveiling his own nearly $1 trillion plan just this morning, just days before a televised White House summit. The proposal largely adheres to the bill passed by the Senate with some key changes. Democratic Congressman Frank Pallone told me in the last hour of America Live that it is more important to focus on what gets accomplished rather than how it gets done.
At this point, I think we're all looking to accomplish the same thing. So, I don't want to get bogged down. Is this the Democratic bill? Do we need to start over? I think we need to achieve those three goals. Cover everyone as much as possible, lower prices, and eliminate discriminatory practices.
Joining us now for reaction from the other side of the aisle, Republican Texas Congressman Joe Barton. He sits on the same committee as Congressman Pallone. Good afternoon, Congressman.
Glad to be with you, Megan.
All right, so what's your reaction to that? That it's not so much the process that matters here so much as the end result?
Well, I think Congressman Pallone and Chairman Waxman and perhaps even President Obama are getting a little bit desperate. American people have rejected the House bill. They've rejected the Senate bill. Now we have a new presidential bill, which I've just seen an executive summary. And we're supposed to go to the White House this Thursday and have a group hug and get something done. So myself and Leader Boehner and Mitch McConnell in the Senate and others will show up on the Republican side, and we'll be prepared to engage substantively if that's what the President wishes to do.
You know, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi came out and said that this summit is, in her words, it will continue a year-long historic level of transparency and open debate. Now, you can argue about whether the administration has been transparent and has invited open debate, but whether they've done it to date or not, they are issuing an invitation to do it on Thursday. Do the Republicans not face serious risks if they don't show up and engage in negotiations in good faith?
Well, I don't know who thinks we're not going to show up. We're going to be there.
There's been a push by some. There's been a push by some Republicans not to go.
Well, I'll be there. The President's invited me, and I plan on being there. As far as I know, Leader Boehner plans on being there. I would assume Dave Camp, the ranking Republican on the Ways and Means Committee from the House, will be there. And we'll not just be there as totem poles. We'll be there to discuss the issues and to debate the President. And if we can come to an agreement on principles, which there are some areas we can, we'll engage. Ending discriminatory practices is something that I think we can agree on. More transparency is something I think we can agree on. Republicans are not going to agree on employee or employer mandates. We're not going to agree on these huge bureaucracies that the House and Senate bills create.
Well, Congressman, let me ask you this.
And we're not going to agree on these giveaways.
Okay, giveaways, because this is something that I asked Congressman Pallone about. Now, one of the problems that the American people had with this bill was all the giveaways, to use your word, that were in it. The Louisiana Purchase down to Mary Landrieu in Louisiana, right. $300 million. $100 million Cornhusker kickback to Ben Nelson in Nebraska.
Right.
That's been removed, but the Landrieu thing hasn't. And there are all sorts of other so-called giveaways in this bill, including some are saying the President just reached out to protect unions in this bill. The Senate wanted to tax Cadillac health care plans by, if you had a really nice health care plan, they were going to issue a tax on it. Now he's raised the threshold at which you would be taxed, and they say he did that because unions were the ones who were going to be affected. So are those issues that you intend to raise that you think you can make any progress on?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how open-minded the President is. We don't know if this is just a photo op for him to present his latest revised plan, or if it's really an interaction between us and the President and the other Democrats that he invites. But there is a fundamental difference between Republicans and Democrats right now in how we look at health care. People like myself on the Republican side believe that a market-based approach where individuals and insurance companies and doctors and hospitals make the choices, make the decisions in an open fashion is preferable to a government-run or a government-mandated or a government-regulated system.
Well, what about,
that's a fundamental difference.
What about, sir, reconciliation? Because the White House today was pressed, Robert Gibbs, on whether using reconciliation, meaning the Senate would pass the House would pass the Senate version, then a new bill would be crafted that would modify a little, and the Senate would have to pass something. And they would do it by 51 votes instead of 60. That's called reconciliation. Some call it the nuclear option. Others call it muscling through health care. Whatever you want to call it, the White House refused today to rule that out as an option. Do you believe that the Democrats could do it, that they could get this thing through on reconciliation?
Well, you can't substantively do health care reform through the budget reconciliation process. I'm a past chairman of the Energy Committee. I've used reconciliation before. Reconciliation is to conform budgetary authority legislation with appropriation existing language. It's not intended for a substantive change in the underlying policies. So, you know, technically, I guess it's a technical possibility. In the real world of the way we operate, first of all, it'd be an insult to the people of America. It would hurt them at the polls to do it next November. And secondly, I'm not sure there's enough trust between the House and Senate Democrats to make it work, because it's contingent on signing a bill that they know is going to be changed in the reconciliation process.
Right, it's a sort of a trust me kind of thing.
And I just don't think that'll work.
All right, Congressman Joe Barton, thanks so much for coming in and weighing in on it. We appreciate your response.
Well, I just want everybody to know in America, every Republican that I know that's been invited is planning on attending, and we're going to be prepared to dialogue and interact with the President.
And we'll be watching you do that live, right here on America Live. Congressman, thanks again.
Thank you.